Akira Kurosawa's film Rashomon.
Rashomon. I don't remember Rashomon being like that.
This entire segment talking about this movie is us just going to both be going, I remember it being a little different.
I'll give you the rough summary this time. You can tell me if it's... and then you can give your own version of it. There's a couple people who huddle up in this temple. I think the temple itself is called Rashomon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a rainstorm, and they just look haunted. And there is a guy who walks up and is like, why do you guys look so haunted? And they're like, let me tell you our horrible story. And so 3 days ago, this farmer, I think,
a woodsman.
He's got an axe.
There you go.
He tells about how he happened upon a dead body while he was in the woods searching for wood. And he ran back and told the police. And then there was a big kind of trial where he was called to testify to see what happened with the body. And there's also a priest there, like a monk. Mm-hmm. And he was the last one to see the guy alive. So he's called as well. The two of them are here in the temple. And first the woodsman tells a story. Then the monk tells a story. And then they're like, well, then it turns out that a lot of other people had their own kind of versions of what happened. And then we get a bit more detail about like what the actual event was rather than these two things about like what happened after the event. Mm-hmm. So we hear what happened initially, and it's kind of there's a bunch of different versions of what happened. It's Rashomon, that's the idea behind it. So the movie is like a process of sort of like trying to untangle what the truth is as we hear the testimony of all of these other people who had their own perspectives on this event that happened that led to this death. Mm-hmm. And you start realizing that all of these people who are telling these stories of what happened are changing things a little bit in order to start saving face, mm-hmm. or to make themselves look good, or like not look bad, or to look good, mm-hmm. In this scenario. But like vaguely, the things that probably happened are that there was this bandit that was played by Toshiro Mifune who saw a woman riding on a horse with her husband, like a samurai, and he was like, I thought she looked like a goddess or something. And then and then this is where like all the stories start kind of getting mixed up about exactly the process here. But basically, he raped her and did something with her husband. And there's a bunch of different versions about what happened.
The husband is dead. We know that.
And the husband is the one that's dead. And now the bandit has a story. The wife has a story. A psychic medium who is speaking for the dead man has a story. And then the woodsman amends his story.
Right.
Because he was like, I didn't want to get involved, but actually I saw the whole thing. I didn't arrive afterward. And so you have like basically 4 versions of this event that all do not corroborate with each other, but they're all clearly involving lies. And,
right. They don't. They all contradict each other somewhat, and it's always whoever's telling the story is sort of trying to make themselves look better in each of them.
Yeah.
Although I'd seen this movie before, one of my big thoughts while watching it this time was like the stories aren't as different as I remember them being. Like they are the actual like sequence of events is more or less the same in all of them. Like there's variation and like like who killed the husband is a question that changes.
And how in each and why.
Right, yeah. But it's usually like the why that changes, and it's mostly like the different perspectives are about sort of like how someone said something versus what was said, which I think is this movie is remembered and is famous for. It's like these are like conflicting stories of the same event. It's like everyone's perspective is different.
Yeah.
And it's like I was like, oh, they're like not as different as I even remember them being. It's like it's the differences are more subtle.
I mean, and I think that like across all of
They're
the
not
different,
like completely different stories each time.
yeah, like across all of the different stories and the kind of like what's going on with the framing narrative
Mm-hmm.
is that like maybe the fact that everybody's lying about this and looking
Mm-hmm.
out for themselves when somebody died or was killed or was raped is speaking to some rot of the human soul,
Mm.
where like maybe these people shouldn't be lying and maybe we should just be like, like
Right. It's sort of implied that all four versions of the story are
somewhat not true.
yes,
Yeah.
are all being filtered through that individual sort of like lies. Like
Yeah.
all of them are subtly shifting things or leaving things out or changing stuff. But it's much less of a like full outright lies, and it's more, I don't know. Yeah, the differences were more subtle than I guess I had remembered them being.
Yeah, and so it's less about
My
like,
own memory was inaccurate.
it's less about what practically happened and more about like how more trying to color how people should feel about it. And in particular like how a group of people who's going to decide whether or not you are put in jail or executed or whatever is going to feel about it. And like even the bandit, when he's testifying, he doesn't say I didn't kill the guy. He's like, I
Right.
did kill the guy.
The bandit fully is like, yes, I am a rapist and a murderer, but like,
But I'm a cool one.
exactly.
Like,
It was like, I was doing it for cool reasons. Then.
yeah.
Which I also think is like, right, that's kind of the first big scenario that we play at, is the bandit's version of events. And it is striking that the bandit isn't really denying any of it.
Yeah. Which is why like it really feels like he's trying to myth make about himself.
Right.
Basically.
He's sort of trying to make it, yeah, I mean, he is kind of trying to make it seem, not that he's like a good person, but that it's like, that he committed a really sort of like impressive crime, I guess. Like,
yeah, and also like there's like an honor aspect to it.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
like a lot of these characters, including, there's this one that we never really get a direct point of view on, which is the guy that died, right? Like the guy that died, we could take it at face value that he's speaking completely accurately through the medium.
Assuming that he is actually speaking through the medium.
Yeah.
Which I think the movie more or less is sort of like, that's our best guess. Like, it doesn't really try to seed that much like doubt into like, maybe this medium has their own agenda that they're trying to get across.
Right, but it's like another, it's another filtration on top of what may or may not be true. Like, it is the words of, like, even if it's straightforwardly correct that the guy who was died was speaking precise words through the medium's mouth, like, it's still being said by another person.
Yeah.
And not just that, the medium's words are being relayed by these other two, like, narrators to this other guy in the temple.
We're like 4 layers of narration deep.
And now we're talking about it.
Don't believe what we say about this movie. You have to watch it yourself.
Yeah. And so like, there's like another, it's like, because there's so much unreliable narrators happening in this movie, like, I think it's trying to get you to think specifically about the stories themselves.
Yeah.
But then you also, like, it makes you think, like, okay, but it's like these same people who have already lied about stuff who are relaying the lies that everybody else told,
I think kind of the thesis of this movie is every narrator is unreliable because it's always going to be filtered through that person's perspective and thoughts. And yeah, it's just like how you tell a story matters.
And when you say how you tell a story, right? Like, how you tell a story matters in terms of, like, your guilt, I suppose. But, like, but also, like, there's, it's a movie. It is telling a lie for you, And there's a point where the person in the temple they're telling this the story to, he says, I don't care if it's a lie as long as it's entertaining. And it's just like, cinema, baby.
Movies!
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a reason why I think especially filmmakers love this movie so much because it's about like the nature of
It's a movie about making movies.
It's a movie about the nature of stories and storytelling.
Yeah. I think that interestingly though, it's kind of a movie about true stories, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like, yes, it's an entertaining lie, like is a way that you could phrase a fiction story, but like really what this movie is about is like the troubles of documentary filmmaking or like biography filmmaking.
Right. Well, it's about sort of like the fluidity of like the truth.
Yeah.
Of like the truth being like a single point.
Yeah.
And it's like
except that there is a truth. There is a real truth
that we never see.
It's not like yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah, maybe none of this happened.
but I mean, because like the movie is framed in such a way that the woodsman's version of the story is sort of kind of presented as the most likely or the closest to the truth. Yeah. In that no one looks good in his version of the story.
Right. He tells a fake version that makes himself look good, and then he gets so kind of discouraged about
his
the
fake
world.
version is he came to the crime totally after the fact,
yeah.
and then ran and told people about it.
Yeah.
And didn't watch it occur.
And then he talks after he relays to this guy in the temple afterward like an updated version that, you know, might still have some lies in it, but like crucially all of these people's version of the truth is not necessarily making themselves look good, but it's making them look good from their own perspective. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of kind of messed up people who have messed up perspectives.
The bandit story is like he doesn't look good in that story, but he is trying to like tell it in a way that like is you know aggrandizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's notable, I guess. I mean, you know, I think what story is true is a bit of a like, did the Inception top stop spinning question? You know,
yeah. No, like the point of the movie is that there is no answer to like which one is true.
But you're correct that like the one where someone is willing to tell a story where they don't look good in their own eyes is probably the more likely, closer to true one.
Right.
But yeah, it's like talking about the troubles in general of portraying the truth.
Yeah, but also like that the truth is always going to be filtered through a perspective. If someone is telling a story, multiple people can observe a single event and tell a different story of that event, even though the event was the same.
And I mean, in particular,
you know, people can watch the same movie and come away with very different ideas about it.
Yeah. In particular,
movie didn't change.
Like in the context of this movie, about criminal justice. You know, there might not have been studies about this kind of thing then, but we know that like eyewitness testimony now is very, very flawed, because people are constantly rewriting their own memories in their head, and like very critical details about crimes end up often being things that people just imagined and remember as memories.
Yeah. The fact that this movie is framed as a like crime investigation does feel very kind of pointed, that it's like this is not necessarily like a problem with, I mean, it is a problem with crime solving, but it's like, I mean, also just it's like the highest stakes version of this kind of narrative structure, I guess, right? Of like something very bad happened. Who's responsible? We need to find the truth about this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, good luck.
Yeah.
There is no truth. What is truth?
What is truth?
Yeah.
The movie begins with these two characters being so haunted by what happened. But like, they're like, you know, somebody died. And the guy goes like, people die all the time. Who cares? One person died. They're like, no, this one's especially bad. And it kind of seems like it's not even that they think that murder is especially bad. It's just that they're so shaken at the lack of consensus reality, and that's what's upsetting them so much.
Right. Yeah. And the priest in particular is sort of like, I don't want to believe that like all people inherently lie. That's just like a universal truth.
Or is it?
Right.
But yeah, the movie ends with them discovering a kind of random crying baby that has been there the whole time, that is in the temple, and like it's like a moment for everybody to confront the fact that here's another moral conundrum that happens right now. We've explored how bad the human soul can get. Now, what do you do with a crying baby? You know?
Right. And then sort of like one guy is like, how dare the parents abandon this baby? Another guy is like, we don't know. Like, they left this, like, protection charm with the baby. Like, we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
We don't know who left this baby here. maybe this baby was saved from a horrible fate by leaving it here. And so yeah, there is a sort of like wrap up micro like
It's like maybe there's hope after all because the woodsman says, I have 6 kids. A 7th isn't going to be too bad. I'll take the baby.
And again, it's like we don't see his home life. We're assuming he's telling the truth.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I think the way the movie ends, I don't think the movie's leaning that far into the ambiguity there.
Yeah.
I think the movie does make an attempt to end on a hopeful note, I think. While still, having a lot of dialogue about like the depravity of humanity.
Yeah.
The priest at one point says, "I don't want this place to be hell," and I'm like,
yeah,
don't know what that feels like.
When they're first talking about Rashomon, the temple, or like the town that it's in, I guess they mention how like they're like, this temple like used to be haunted by like a demon, but then the demon left because the people in this town were so bad.
I'm like, I buy it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I think this movie is kind of so well known and well liked. It's very creative use of like narrative. It's just like it's not, Kurosawa didn't write the initial story this is based on, but like that the kind of structure of it, of like, here is an event and we're going to see subtly different contradictory perspectives of that thing from different people. I mean, that's been in other things. That's like a recurring, not really a trope, but like an idea in storytelling, I think.
You do a Rashomon.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a Rashomon situation. We don't know what happened.
I mean, I think this movie's interesting. It brings up a lot of interesting ideas. I always this is my second time seeing it. And it's been 13 years since I watched it previously. And I looked at my Letterboxd rating from 13 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And I didn't rate it very highly. And I didn't remember too much of the plot coming back in. And I sort of felt 3.5 out of 5 about this again this time. Because I think that it's trying to be ideas first. And the way that it presents them, it does inspire thought, but it presents them, I think, a little clunkily. And I think more crucial to me, I found it really hard to feel like emotionally invested in anything that was happening. Because it's so like about ideas and so slippery as to what's actually happening. Like, even though there's like really dark stuff that happens, you don't actually directly see any of it. And so like, I don't know, like I felt a little distant from this movie last time and this time. It's hard for me to like a movie if I feel distant from it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And so I think it's like, personally, I think Rashomon is like more of an interesting concept than a movie that I like a lot.
Right. And I do think the concepts that this movie is playing with are the best thing about it. I do think the performances in it are very good because
Toshiro
they're like,
Mifune is the goat.
Especially him, because he's playing the biggest character. He's playing the bandit, so he gets to just be insane the whole time. But it's like,
which is where he's good.
Well, it's also funny that the last movie we watched from him, he was the like clean cut, fresh faced detective.
I know,
and now he's in like not full Mifune like samurai garb, but he's like, his hair's long, he's got the beard, he's got the crazy eyes, he's sweaty the whole time. He's just like yelling and like,
he's hooting like Daffy Duck at points. It's
it's also interesting, like we'll see more of his Kurosawa movies going up, but like this movie to Seven Samurai, where he's playing kind of his mannerisms are, he's still like scruffy and sweaty, but he's more heroic in that movie.
But he's like
a bit... Yojimbo, he's like a lot more, he's still scruffy, but he's like more refined a little bit.
I guess so, yeah. But like,
he's quieter.
When we saw Stray Dog, I was like, this is not the Mifune I know, you know?
Right,
like,
yeah. It feels really, really different.
I feel like Mifune's really in his element when he's greasy.
Sure, yes. Greasy Mifune is the best. For sure.
And I love greasy Mifune.
Yeah. And this is probably him possibly at his greasiest, his most unsavory, probably.
Right.
But yeah, it's like the subtle shifts in performance between each of the different narratives, or the different stories being told. I think is really like all the 3 actors. I don't know the other 2's names. Right? They're oftentimes saying the same dialogue, playing the same scenes out, but like in different ways. And I think that it is just a nice showcase for their performances.
Yeah.
Being able to like play the same scene multiple times and then like adjust it a little bit.
Yeah, I think especially Machiko Kyo, who is the wife, like she gets a lot to do.
Yeah.
And gets to like
she might have like the biggest like shifts
range.
in like how she's playing the scene.
Yeah. Like what her role is the one that like changes the most, and she does well with all of it for sure.
Yeah, pretty good movie. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this has got a lot of great just Kurosawa stuff in it. It just like every shot feels like perfectly framed.
Yeah. I like that, like, during the courtroom scenes, the woodcutter and the monk are just kind of hanging out in the background the whole time.
Yeah, but it's, like, cool that they're in the same shot still.
Yeah,
and, like, we still see them. The use of weather is, like, a big Kurosawa thing. Like, Kurosawa loves some rain, and this is a very, very rainy movie. The possibly low Letterboxd rating of this movie might also be a thing where it's, like, I think this is a very good movie. In my, like, Kurosawa rankings, it's probably not even my top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting movie, but like like you talk about movies that like grab you emotionally, and like Seven Samurai, you know, you're just like
movies that are just like a 10-course meal.
Yeah. And like, you know, this is exploring a single idea, but I watched Ron recently, and like
Never seen that one.
That one just covers like so many kind of like interesting human condition
this
things.
This is not an epic the way that a lot of other Kurosawa movies are epics.
Yeah. This
is like very tight. Like it's focused on like this one thing, this one idea, and sort of extrapolating out from that. Yeah, I love the concept of this movie so much, and I love how the movie is very happy being as like I think you said slippery before. It's like it's very comfortable not giving you clear answers to everything, and even kind of questioning the idea of like, can a clear answer exist even? Like, are humans just inherently too
self-serving,
but also just like, you know, everyone lies to themselves. Everyone just has inherent bias, I guess.
Yeah.
I like how much the movie is willing to like commit to that idea.